Okay, picture this. You're trapped in your own house, and outside, assassins are waiting to get you. What do? I mean, what can you do? Well, if you're the ancient poet King David, you write a song. Seriously. So today, let's dive into this absolutely incredible poem that was born from that exact crisis, Psalm 59.
So, here's how we're going to break this down. We're going to follow the emotional journey of this psalm, starting with a desperate plea in the dark. Then, we'll face down what he calls the hounds at the door. After that, everything changes with a new perspective from above. We'll look at a pretty surprising request he makes, and we'll wrap it all up with a song for the morning. All right, let's jump right in where the psalm itself begins, in a moment of just sheer terror with a prayer that absolutely cuts right to the chase.
You know, the intro to this psalm tells you everything you need to know. This isn't just some abstract poem about enemies in general. No, this is about a very specific, very real historical moment. King Saul has sent a hit squad, and I mean, they are literally camped outside David's house, just waiting to kill him. The stakes, they could not possibly be higher.
And this is how it starts. Boom. No warm-up, no gentle intro. It's just this immediate, raw cry for help. He's asking God to be his fortress, his place of safety. Now, hang on to that word fortress, because it's going to be the key to understanding this whole thing. Okay, so now let's look a little closer at how he actually describes these guys outside his door. The language he uses is, well, it's incredibly vivid, almost animal-like.
First off, he makes this really important contrast. He's basically saying, hey, I'm innocent here. I haven't done anything wrong. This isn't some kind of deserved punishment. It's just a completely baseless, ferocious attack. And that really drives home the injustice of it all. And then you get this incredible imagery. He doesn't just call them soldiers or assassins. He calls them a pack of snarling dogs prowling through the city. I mean, think about that. It's not just a threat anymore. It's menacing. It's predatory. You can almost hear them growling just outside the walls.
But what's really fascinating here is that the attack isn't just physical. He says their mouths spew threats, that their words are like swords. So they're not just trying to kill him, they're trying to destroy his reputation too. And they're doing it all with this incredible arrogance, thinking, who's going to hear us? Who's going to stop us?
Okay, so right when the tension is at its absolute highest, the psalmist does something amazing. He completely flips the script. It's like he pulls the camera way, way back from his front door, all the way up into the heavens.
And this really gets to the core question, right? When you're totally cornered, completely surrounded, and the odds just seem impossible, where do you turn? Where do you find hope? For the writer of this psalm, the answer was to look up. And this brings us right back to that word we talked about, fortress. See, he realizes his safety isn't in the stone walls of his house. In fact, right now, his house is a trap. His real fortress, his ultimate place of security, is God. It's this total reframing of strength, away from something physical to something totally divine.
And this line right here, this is the turning point of the entire psalm. From down on the round, those guys outside are terrifying. But from God's perspective, well, they're laughable. That one thought just completely shatters their power. It reframes these scary assassins as honestly pretty insignificant in the grand scheme of things.
So, okay, now he has this new heavenly perspective. You'd think he'd ask for, I don't know, a bolt of lightning to just take them all out, right? But what he asks for next is way more complex. And frankly, a lot more interesting. Check out this thought process. The first step is kind of shocking. He says, don't kill them. Why? Lest my people forget. He doesn't want it to be over quickly. He wants their downfall to be a slow, public event, a lesson that sticks. He wants them uprooted, brought down, and caught in the trap of their own arrogant words. So the point here isn't just about personal revenge. Not at all. It's about a public demonstration. He wants their defeat to be a lesson for everybody, everywhere, to see that, yep, there are consequences, and that real power doesn't come from a sword, it comes from God.
And all of this brings us to the final, really beautiful ending of the psalm. After this long night of pure terror, the poet looks toward the morning and imagines a totally different world of sound. And the contrast he paints is just perfect. On one hand, you've still got the enemies, those hungry dogs, howling because they didn't get what they wanted. Their night ends in total frustration. But on the other hand, the psalmist says his night is going to end with a promise. He declares that when morning comes, he's the one who's going to be making noise, not howling in frustration, but singing about strength and love.
And so the poem comes completely full circle. It lands right back on that main idea.
He started by begging for a fortress, and now he's singing from inside it. He found his strength, his security, not by physically escaping, but by choosing to trust. So, this ancient song, written in a moment of pure desperation, ends on this incredible, defiant note of joy. And it kind of leaves us all with a pretty big question, doesn't it? When you feel surrounded, when you feel trapped, where do you find your strength? What becomes your fortress?